Well, how did the pond plants do over the last few months? Some did really well, some did not. Welcome back to the Small Scape. Today I am doing just a brief little overview how these plants did in the pond before I break it down, because that is coming this week. We are going to be breaking it down because, well, it's getting chilly, and as you can see, there's a lot of leaves falling. We don't have it covered, so we would have to make other arrangements, but we're not going to do that. We're going to move a lot of the plants inside, which will be really fun. Some of these will be able to go into some aquariums. Yay! And then stay tuned. When I do officially break this down, I'll probably video some of it, maybe. I don't know. And then I'm going to let you know how many fish are in there, because we started with 24 white clouds mixed with guppies and endlers. Be very curious to see how many are in there. And then we also had put 2 plecos in there, 2 bristlenose. So we'll see if they made any little offspring. So let's, I'm going to give you a little tour, let you know how the plants did. Some of them were surprising, and some of them did not do so well. All right, first of all, this Hearty water canna, really liked it. It was really fun to have a very tall element. You can see some of these leaves are not doing so well. Some of them did wind up being underwater for too long, and they do need to be cut. But the funny thing with this guy is, if you are going to put one of these plants in a pond, really anywhere, make sure you thoroughly kind of surround it with rocks and make it very, very stable, because it was an everyday sort of thing that I would have to pick this guy up and I'd resituate him, and then he would flop back down again. So, but there is nice new growth. I'm gonna have to decide where to put him, because he's a pretty cool plant, and he also flowered early on in the season. Now the next one that I want to talk about is Creeping Jenny. This one right here, which is throughout the pond. It's kind of a mix of underwater, on top of the water, and also I left outside. I did have a couple of them die off because we were out of town early in the summer and nobody was watering back here, so the ones on the outskirt kicked the bucket. But this guy is doing great, except part of him was not in the water, so this right here is my fault. But he's doing great. He's bouncing back, and I am moving some of them into some of my aquariums because Creeping Jenny is so awesome. It can go in planters, and it can also go in aquariums. It'll kind of stay on the top. It does not last forever if you put it underwater. It's not a completely submergible plant, but it does. It has a really cool kind of well, creeping habit. This is a piece of bacopa that I really just chucked right in there just to see how he would do, and he's done really, really great. I'll be able to plant him in one of my aquariums, and maybe even one of my taller aquariums, or one of my 20-gallon longs. That'll be pretty fun, but he's done really great floating on the water. I have a random Amazon frogbit, and look at how long those roots are. Isn't that hilarious? But it's just one, and it hasn't multiplied or anything. Very bizarre. Now you'll notice that I have my pool noodle hacks that I did leave in the pond. They worked out great. This is some hydrocodal that I ordered off of, I think, Etsy, because I had seen it at the greenhouse. I think I did a video on that. Oh, and a random piece of Anubias. One of it actually started to rot, which was very weird. I think it got surrounded by green hair algae. That would be the #1 problem that I had with this pond, was green hair algae. So let me know, what should we do in this pond next year? We're thinking like Florida flagfish, because they would take care of the green hair algae in a hot minute there. Now this hydrocodal is super fun. I'm going to be, oh boy, I'm going to have to decide where I want it, because this is a really, really fun plant. It does not like to be submerged, but it does run, as you can see, lots of runners, and it kind of stays on the water. And look at all that. This is just one of the pieces, gotten really, really long, and it's a super, super fun plant. All right, some of my other favorites here that have done pretty well is This guy right here, this is a really cool plant. And if I would have kept an eye, sometimes the actual pot that I had him in was floating around a little bit and maybe not getting the appropriate amount of like moisture up to the certain, you know, the level that it really prefers. That's a horsetail rush. Really cool detail on the on these little, whatever you call them. And the one plant I would have to say that hasn't really done anything, probably because the, whatever you call these little spikes, is, here we go, this guy right here, this one, that's a fiber optic grass. And next time I think I'm just going to have it planted on the outside of the pond. I hope to maybe have, kind of incorporate like a marshy area, a more like really dedicated marshy area next year. We'll see how that works out. But those guys would do a whole lot better. I even had one on the outside. See this little fiber optic guy? Really cute, but it hasn't really grown or anything. This one I had outside of the pond, but sometimes this would, the pot would dry out. That's kind of my fault. But really, it's a really cute little plant with these little guys. Now for the big beast, I'm sure you can see it. And I'll show you a picture of what it used to look like. This guy. Sheesh. I think it's an alocasia, if I remember correctly. I'm not real familiar with these plants, but it is, as you can see, ginormous. And that's just right outside the pond. The one that did not do well, maybe because I have too many back there, is the dwarf papyrus. It's kind of, I don't know, it might have been getting too much sun. It looks a little like frizzly, like kind of crispy. A lot of these guys here. I don't know. I'm used to them looking like this in planters, you know, a little bit greener, but there's a lot that are just kind of, I don't know, looking kind of brown and gangly. Now you can see more of the hydrocodal back here looking great. Down there, it's really cool because it, like I said, it does not like to be submerged underwater, those leaves, but it will creep. It kind of creeps up along the plants, so that looks really cool. But, oh, and then also bacopa, which is very similar to the creeping Jenny. Like right here. Bacopa was flowering earlier, and I don't even know if I got a picture of it or not, but it trails really nicely. It's done, oh, there's a few little flowers back here. Let's see if I can get them. Right there. There's just a few little blooms left, but that is the plant update. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know, do you have a pond? Have you ever done a pond before? What plants did really well for you and which ones really didn't? Because I had some surprises in here. And I'd be really curious to know your thoughts because I'm going to be starting to plan next year's pond. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.